All right, this is for Algebra 1, Module 5 test review, the paper version. So the first question asks us to write an equation when given the point -4,9 with a slope of -2. So I'm going to use point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to plug in knowing this is my x1, this is my y1. So when I do so, I have y minus 9 is equal to, and remember this is my m value, -2, x plus 4. You can leave it in that form, but if we want to put it in slope-intercept form, we're going to continue the problem. Y minus 9 equals -2x minus 8. We're distributing plus 9, and you get -2x plus 1 for your final answer. All right, so number 2 says write an equation, and they gave you 2 points. So there's an order we have to do. We got to find the slope first, and then we're going to use point slope to find the equation. All right, so slope, you're subtracting them, -7 minus 5, and -1 minus 3. And when you do so, you end up with a slope of -3. So that's your m value. Then you're going to plug in y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, which gives me, I'm going to pick the first point here. So when I do that, I get my -3 there, and then x minus 3. Again, distribute, so y minus 5 equals -3x plus 9. Y equals -3x. We're adding that to plus 14. And there's my answer. All right, so the car company problem said a car rental company charges $40 per day plus a one-time insurance fee. Okay, so stuff to pay attention to. One-time fee, 25, would match your y-intercept when you're thinking about that logically. If the amount is per day, $40 per day, that matches your slope. So when writing an equation, you have y equals 40x plus 25, because it just asks you to write an equation. That's it. You're not doing anything else with it. You're just writing an equation. So your answer is y equals 40x plus 25. All right, number 4 asked you, said, okay, select all equations that go with this. So we're going to start out, we're going to write it in point slope form, which equals this -5, x minus 1. And you notice you find that one on A, actually. And then when we go ahead and solve it, you get C. And then you're done. All right, number 6 gives you a graph. One thing you should notice right away is the y-intercept equals 3. And then you count the slope. So the slope, I'm going to count, I went down 2, so that's a negative, over 3. So there is my slope. So then my equation is -2/3 x plus 3. And I'm done. So number 7 just said, hey, draw a quick pic of what a positive correlation graph looks like. So if this is my graph, my positives in a correlation is going to go uphill. So it's something like this, okay? So that you could do a line of best fit and it would look like that. But it's going uphill when you think of that from left to right. Number 8 asks for a negative correlation. So a negative correlation, change the colors, okay? You're going to see this type of pattern. Okay, so then if we did a line of best fit, it's going down that way, so it's going downhill when you're reading it left to right. No correlation. It is like this. Random. You cannot find a pattern. It's not going uphill or downhill. Okay, so number 10 asks explain, because I want you to be able to identify on the test, like we give you scatter plots, but what a scatter plot with a line of best fit looks like. So what we're looking for is, so like I'm just drawing random points here as I'm talking. And like this would be a line of best fit through these points, right? So it may cross through some of them, it may not. It's just following the pattern, the trend of those points. All right, number 11 says, in a positive correlation graph, when X values increase. So again, we're going to go back to that positive correlation. Just random points here. I know, sloppy, but there's a positive correlation graph. As X increases, what's happening to the Y? Well, X increases is going this way. Notice what's happening to the Y. So X increases, and this Y increases. Okay, so that's the point. You need to see that trend in positive correlation. Okay, so in a negative correlation graph, we say as X increases, so we're getting bigger in the X's, Y decreases because you see the Y values are getting smaller. All right, number 13, explain in your own words the difference between causation and correlation. So correlation is just two things occurring, really, right? Like when you think about it, should be in, things can correlate. So taller people weigh more. It's not always true, but it correlates in data, okay? And then causation is, here's a good one. Stepping on a nail to foot pain. Stepping on a nail definitely causes foot pain if you are a normal human, okay? So causation is all about something causing something else. And I know I'm using the word, something causing something else. Okay, and then I just did 14 and 15 without realizing it because I was trying to use that as examples. So 14 was the stepping on a nail to foot pain. 15 is this, taller people weigh more. Doesn't have to be the case, okay? There are students that are taller than me and I weigh more than them because, again, it comes down to other things. So that's why it can correlate, but it doesn't necessarily cause it. And then last but not least, number 16 just says, please know how to use Desmos to write the equation of line of best fit in slope-intercept form, which you'll get the little equation on your test, but it's just, that's what you need. So hopefully this helps, and good luck, and there we go.